Okay. Okay, moving on to our final work session, Clean Water Fee Reduction Program for Clark County Schools. So the team has arrived, so take it away.
Good morning, Council. For the record, my name is Devin Rostfer. I'm the Clean Water Division Manager, and I'm joined here today by Andrea Logue, Senior Management Analyst, and Eric Lambert, the Clean Water Outreach Manager. And for today's presentation, we want to provide some background on Clark County's fee reduction program for schools, as well as some updates on current participation levels from 2025 and some of the challenges that we're experiencing around the program and its administration. And we'll also be providing council with some options to consider and seeking some guidance from council really on some policy direction on this program going forward for Clark County schools. With that, if we could move to the next slide, we're going to transition into some background information on the program to be presented by Andrea.
Good morning, Council. Can you hear me? Okay. Okay. So a background, if we could go to the next slide, please. So the fee reduction program was a response to concerns about charging schools the new clean water fee under development in 1999. The county responded with options for fee reductions in Clark County Code. It stated public and private schools K through 16 were eligible for a fee reduction, and it was based on how educational programs and community activities protect and enhance the surface and stormwater management system, the amount of protection and enhancement, on-site stormwater facilities that are in compliance with the county's best management practices manual, and then the mitigation impacts of stormwater runoff from these programs, activities, and stormwater facilities. Next slide, please. So to qualify for the fee reduction in the first decade of the clean water fee, school districts and private schools needed to have county staff train school facilities and maintenance staff on stormwater BMPs to protect stormwater from potential pollutants that are generated in the course of doing maintenance and custodial work. And these fees were reduced based on an annual report of environmental education expenses that the school districts and private schools submitted to county staff. Next slide, please. At a 2011 work session, county commissioners requested a more formal review of the program, as well as a more formal review of school district activities and education efforts before reducing the clean water fees. These new requirements were developed, and they stipulated that each school completes the requirements versus a set of requirements where a whole school district's fees could be reduced at once in the previous version of the program. And the new requirements could reduce a portion or all of the clean water fees. It varied. Implementation of the new requirements were phased over 2 fee years of 2013 and 2014. So the first requirement for 2013 fee reductions was to continue these annual BMPs trainings by county staff. Then there was a new requirement for 2013 fee reductions that was on-site stormwater facilities must pass county staff inspection. And then an additional new requirement for the 2014 fee reductions was that schools complete specific certifications in the Washington Green Schools program. By 2017, it was clear the requirement for Washington Green Schools certification didn't provide enough stormwater specific education, and county staff revised the program again. Next slide, please. This program revision was implemented in the 2018 fee year and continues to be the program structure today. All schools located in unincorporated Clark County are eligible to receive a 100% clean water fee reduction on a school-by-school basis. There are 4 criteria each school needs to complete in the school year, along with submission of forms that are provided by the county to document the completion. The first 2 criteria are a continuation from prior versions of the program, and criteria 3 and 4 are new. So number 1, again, continue annual stormwater BMPs training by county staff. Number 2, continue to pass county staff inspections of on-site stormwater facilities. Identified deficiencies must be corrected and facilities then re-inspected. 3, it was a new criterion of a qualifying educational program. Implement at least one educational activity that clearly connects how human activities and/or land use practices impact surface water and stormwater. There are a variety of ways to meet this educational program criterion, both from third-party educators and/or within the classroom. County staff provide a list of acceptable educational programs. County staff also provide activities with complete instructions ready for teachers to use. School staff wanting to implement a program not listed should get prior approval that it will qualify. And the 4th new criterion is a community activity. Disseminate a stormwater message with the broader school community from experiences or lessons learned from the educational program. County staff provide a list of acceptable activities along with a message template that can be shared with the community, such as in a newsletter. The 100% fee reduction is applied to the property tax balance. Partial reductions will not be given to schools unable to complete all 4 tasks. Next slide, please. Another component of the current program structure is the relationship between the fee year of fees that will be reduced and the time frame for schools to complete qualifying activities. For example, to reduce the 2018 fees, schools had from August 2017 through June 2018 to complete the 4 criteria. This is the same for 2019. Due to challenges from the COVID-19 pandemic, no schools participated and no fees were reduced in the fee years of 2020 to 2024. In 2025, clean water fees increased, and this fee reduction program was promoted as the property tax statements were mailed. This meant schools had a shorter time frame from March through June 2025 to complete the 4 criteria. Next slide, please. So now we'll talk about participation. Next slide, please. The participation numbers are for the current version of the program structure that started in the 2018 fee year. So 15 in the 2018 fee year, 15 schools participated from 1 district. 14 of those schools qualified for fee reduction, and $54,800 of fees were reduced. In the 2019 fee year, 24 schools participated from 2 districts, 15 schools qualified for fee reduction, and $51,500 in fees were reduced. Next slide, please. As mentioned on a previous slide, due to challenges from the COVID-19 pandemic, no schools participated and no fees were reduced in the fee years 2020 and 2024. As part of a communication plan for the increased 2025 clean water fees, property owners with the highest increases were identified for proactive outreach. It turned out 3 school districts and Washington State University, Vancouver were identified as highly impacted owners, and the fee reduction program was promoted to them. County staff then received inquiries for more information about the program from Hawkinson School District and Washougal School District. Next slide, please. So we are able to provide numbers for the 2025 fee reductions. It is estimated that there are 49 eligible public and private schools in unincorporated Clark County. So 17 schools participated this year, and those are in 2 school districts. 6 schools qualified for fee reduction, and $19,900 in fees were reduced out of an estimated $336,000 if all 49 public and private schools in unincorporated Clark County qualified for fee reduction. There were impacts to both county staff and schools from a condensed qualifying timeframe of 4 months instead of 11 months. County staff had to quickly get up to speed with the program and were figuring out how to provide support along the way. Some school districts decided there wasn't enough time to attempt participating, and some participating schools did not qualify. Next slide, please. And I'll be turning it over to Eric to talk about challenges.
All right, let's talk about some challenges administering this program. And we'll start with the limited capacity for existing staff. There's a lot of guidance that we're required to provide to the schools in this. It requires responding to a variety of questions. Some are pretty straightforward, but as we go through administering this program, we get a lot of very nuanced questions that take some digging into and don't necessarily we hadn't planned for. So an example of that could be, there may be a school with a variety of numerous different parcels that incorporate that embody the entire school. For example, maybe there's a parking lot on one parcel, but no stormwater facility on that parcel. Or maybe the school is on one parcel, there's 2 different schools on that parcel, and one qualifies and one doesn't. There's also a lot of staff time that goes into qualifying the educational programs. The educational programs that we provide as eligible to the schools change over the years, and sometimes they include a stormwater component that in the letter of the previous code was something along the lines of making sure that the educational program ties land use and behaviors into stormwater and stream health quality. And so we have to review those educational programs that we don't administer, maybe administered by a third party like Columbia Springs or Clark Public Utilities. And so making sure that those are all up to date and meeting the intent of the program. We also provide some resource documents to schools if they want to do things themselves, and tracking and evaluating if the criteria are met on a school-to-school, year-to-year basis. Also requires some time. We'll go to the next slide, please. We've also identified a need to evaluate the program against best practices for rate credits, and some questions that we'd consider, that we'd like to consider are, include, is the program administration adversely affecting the staff's ability to perform other key responsibilities for permit compliance? Do the school's qualifying activities reduce the current or future costs of the county's stormwater program? Are schools' qualifying activities required without this program, for example, stormwater facility maintenance? Should qualifying schools have on-site stormwater facilities that go above and beyond that may reduce the cost burden to the county's stormwater program or incentivize retrofits with enhanced treatment? The next slide. And of course, there are actual revenue costs to consider. Revenue reduction, as Andrea mentioned, there are roughly 49 public and private schools that could qualify, and this is just an estimate, not a detailed analysis, but that total revenue could be approximately $336,000 annually from the stormwater fee revenue. And then, of course, the county staff time spent on the program is not just the education outreach, it also includes inspectors and our source control or BMP folks that do the trainings to the variety of different school districts. The financial analyst has some additional tracking and customer service requests for administering the fee, and the division manager has some final decision-making time that's required as well. Next slide. And I don't want to speak too much on behalf of the schools, but there is also some school staff time that's spent on the program. They're required for each school. In my experience, there does seem to be somewhat of a disconnect between the administrators at the school who are concerned with the clean water fee and the teachers who are responsible for administering some of the education requirements. The facilities and the maintenance staff need to be trained to implement the BMPs and then also maintain the stormwater facilities. The teachers need to implement the qualifying educational programs and be sure to check in if they are going in a different direction outside of the list that we've provided. And then the administrative staff also have a role in disseminating the stormwater messaging to a broader school community. Next slide.
Great. Thank you, Eric and Andrea, for that background. So now I'm going to present where we are today, as well as some options to consider for moving forward. So currently, schools are requesting guidance for this 2025 to 2026 school year. Because we knew this work session was happening and some of the challenges that we've faced, we have asked the schools to wait. We're on pause with providing guidance until we hear from you today. We do believe as staff that we need to revise our qualifying education programs and examine the burden that it has on our existing staff, as well as updates to our program resource documents, as well as having clear policies and procedures for evaluating our qualification standards. Currently, we have some guidance, but because of the nuanced situations that we've had, a lot of the policies and procedures for evaluating those unique situations we do not currently have. And we believe that in order to defend the program and our decisions, having those policies and procedures for evaluation established would not only be better for the county, but also better for the schools. So I'm going to present some options for council to consider on how to proceed. Next slide, please. So for option A, we could pause the program, evaluate, and determine the future. This enables us to conduct analyses. And one thing that I do want to mention is that currently the details of this program are not codified. They are not in our Clean Water Code. So we do recommend a resolution or ordinance that outlines all the details of this program and having that on record and to support us in administrating. Additionally, you're looking at the 3 key staff that have been administering this program. We're all management staff in addition to our inspectors. So there is a very significant workload concern in fitting this all in on our in addition to our normal responsibilities. In 2026, in our budget request, we are requesting to hire a dedicated clean water fee administrator. We have had increased revenues. There are multiple elements of our clean water fee program, and one element that we are incorporating into this position's responsibilities is management of future incentive programs, including the school fee reduction program. Option B would be just to reinstitute the program as is for this 2025 to 2026 school year to provide the reductions for schools in the 2026 fee year. So this would be continuing business as usual as we just described the program. And option C, given the participation in the fees reduced, which were $19,900 for this school year, considering the cost benefit and whether or not we want to end the program. So now I will provide our recommendation as staff and really want to hear from council. Our recommendation would be to go with option A, which is to pause the program temporarily so that we can evaluate the program and really determine the future. We do need dedicated staff to administer this program and work directly with schools. There's a lot of research on how to implement rate credits. And I know that's something, Councilor Young, through the rate study process that you are really interested in. What can we do to provide incentive programs? This is our only incentive program. And we have work to do on determining those best practices for rate credits. also the cost benefit, given we have our staff time as well as 3 to 5 inspectors that are eligible to go in and train staff, there is a significant cost to our division to administer the program. And it impacts, spending money to administer the program, which ultimately impacts our revenues for our program. And then once again, we believe that having clear policies and procedures for evaluating the qualification standards is essential, as well as the need to codify those policies and procedures through a council resolution or ordinance. So this would be our recommendation: not to end the program, not to reinstitute the program as is for this school year, but to pause the program while we conduct research. But at this time, that concludes our presentation, and we would like to hear your thoughts on the program and receive some policy direction for how we proceed. Thank you.
Great, thank you. I wasn't aware of this program, so this is very interesting. But Counselor Linnell, you were quick on the button there.
Yeah, thank you. I'm curious why there isn't an option D that combines option A and B. I would hate to pause a program that benefits our schools just to evaluate what to do next. Why can't we implement the program as is while figuring out how to improve it at the same time?
To respond to that, I really, it comes down to concern around staff workload. As a division manager and as a program manager who is supervising staff, and Andrea, who's in charge of our entire budget, all of our forecasting, it is a significant administrative burden to us to provide that customer service and outreach to schools, as well as our inspectors who are going in to inspect facilities that schools are already required to have inspected and to address. So it's essentially something they're required to do already. It's not above and beyond. So it would mainly be a staff workload concern to continue as is.
Okay. And you said you have a request in for an extra FTE. So this next year, we will likely have another staff person that could potentially help.
We have requested it. That's ultimately a council decision and recommendation from our leadership.
But that's in the existing budget request.
That's in the 2026. We've submitted it, but it's still going through the internal review process and whether or not it will be added as a recommendation.
Yeah. Well, I guess my opinion is I wouldn't want to pause a program that has benefits to our schools. I understand it takes more workload, but that would be my opinion.
Thank you.
Did you have any questions?
Just comments.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Well, like, I guess maybe there is a question too, but I would be really, I mean, when you were giving the presentation, I was sitting there looking at loss of revenue, staff time, staff time, staff time, staff time. So I would be really interested in seeing, you know, the entirety of what it's costing the county. I appreciate the sentiment to help our schools, but I feel like this fee should match impact. So I would have no problem waiving this fee for the schools if they mitigate 100% on site. And perhaps they pay us for inspections periodically to ensure that that continues and, that the system is working properly. But I think that, yeah, if we're going to continue having a program, there should be a couple things that should happen. One, there should be minimal to no impact from the building itself. And then we should have really measured information on what the program is accomplishing. I mean, are we getting through to the kids, or is it, a 20-minute discussion in one of 200 days or whatever that they're at school, and 5 minutes later it's gone? Is there really an impact coming from the program? So I personally think I would favor option A. I think evaluation is important, and I understand the time constraints. Basically, you change your focus from management of the program to, reviewing it. If we can find a way to move forward and again, it's about incentivizing the schools to develop those facilities. I don't know, realistically, from like a dollar standpoint, I don't know if they can retrofit for a price that's a reasonable investment to not have to pay those fees. I don't know if that works out or not, but certainly the new schools absolutely should have no impact on the system. So those are my thoughts.
Thank you. I have a few thoughts and questions too. And along those lines, I was curious about the real cost to the county in terms of staffing. It'd be good to better understand that. And I can appreciate the sentiment in setting this program up. I don't know when the fees first came into play, but, and they're schools, but then there could be other entities that could benefit from something like this. And knowing that you're predominantly a fee-based program with occasional grants, is that correct? That it ultimately shifts the burden to the other ratepayers. So that would be something to consider, the fairness in that. And, I think education is really important. And I know, Eric, you do a lot of education. Part of our permit, I think, includes all of that. I don't know how this particular program is reflected. Is it a component of the permit itself?
The audience of school-age children is a part of our permit, but this fee reduction requirement is not necessarily a part of how we reach that permit requirement.
Right. So there's that education that occurs just across the board
Correct.
with school-age students. And then, and this is difficult to quantify. Education is difficult to quantify in terms of water quality outcome, but just trying to understand what the benefit is that this program brings to improving water quality in terms of your evaluation this year would be important to try to figure that out. And I know Washougal School District, well, in these school districts, there's some schools that are outside of the city limits, and then there's some that are inside. So to do a district-wide program, I think would be difficult because of those, and each of the cities have their own stormwater requirements as well. So I don't know how all of that gets coordinated, but I know Washougal High School had a program to do some retrofit. I think they got a grant and a partnership with the Columbia River Estuary Partners to improve their parking lot. So I don't know. I think it is worth taking a pause, since it's on pause already, and taking a closer look at this in terms of whatever guidance you've been able to glean from our conversation.
Thank you. That's very helpful. I think just to address some of the questions you posed, this program was first recommended in 1999 when the fee was started in 2000, and it came from public concern about the impact to schools. It is the only property type that we provide an incentive or reduction to, and the program is based entirely on inspections, training, and education and outreach. We actually do not have any programs right now that provide reductions for retrofits or managing 100% of your stormwater on site. A lot of programs, that is how they're based, and that we've talked about that before. So there isn't a component that incentivizes them to go above and beyond what they're required. So no structural retrofit component, just education, training, inspections.
Well, if there were such a program, it would be maybe good to apply that more broadly, because I know there's a lot of private stormwater facilities, and those neighborhood associations are responsible for managing and maintaining. And I know way back when I was on the Clean Water Commission, there wasn't enough resources really to go out and inspect all of those, which I think may have a much more direct water quality impact. So something to think about.
Yeah, that's a great point. So schools are considered a private stormwater facility. And we have over 2,000 private stormwater facilities and 3 inspectors inspecting those annually. So, and they're the ones who are also providing the training on those inspections. And if any repairs are needed, they are communicating those repair needs. So it is a significant, outside of just us, 3 responsible for 2,000.
Yeah, so I think weighing that in terms of, because I think then you can get to some quantification of water quality impacts. That'd be great. Anything else from anyone?
Well, yeah, I think for direction, you need 3 thumbs up, and I'm not giving my thumbs up on this one, which would, I think, mean that you would continue as directed by existing policy, which would be to reinstate the program. I just didn't know what if you don't get the thumbs up, what that would mean.
Yeah, it's status quo.
But I would give a thumbs up to having option having a evaluating while you're implementing. I would be very supportive of that because I think we need to.
So it's confusing, but is status quo continuing the program or remaining paused?
It's a good point. What is status quo?
Well, it wasn't paused last year.
Pause now.
Just as a reminder, there was no participation from 2020 to 2024. And when we updated the clean water fee code, the school fee reduction program was not in that update. So we actually intended to no longer continue the program. But however, since we saw that school districts were some of the most impacted by the clean water fee increase, I don't want to say last minute, but we decided that it was important for us at the time because schools are I want to acknowledge schools are in a challenging time to do that proactive outreach and to essentially reinstate the program. And that was the real challenge because it meant all hands on deck for us to re-administer, re-stand up this program, but also all hands on deck for schools. They were hard pressed to implement the program from March to June. And that was part of the challenge, quite frankly.
I think that brings another part of the discussion up too. I mean, if we waive the fee and it's $58,000, how much is the school district paying for this? I mean, are they really even seeing a financial gain that is worth the loss to the fund? I mean, that's part of the discussion as well.
Well, and I think it's more than just a loss to the fund. It's really the staff impacts seem to me to be the more significant issue.
And you mentioned the school districts. Right now, the fee is charged to each individual school, and only in unincorporated Clark County, we don't have a mechanism to charge the fee for a full district. So each school is having to individually qualify, which has resulted in some schools within the district qualifying and others not. So it does really not only impact the district, but the individual schools.
Yeah, and I understand there's been less participation, but I don't want to take away that opportunity to voluntarily take up this opportunity this next year. So I guess without the third thumbs up, I would suggest that you implement as you have in the past and give the schools the opportunity to take this option if they'd like.
It seems very awkward to me because it's one counselor directing this.
Well, it's just, if you don't get the thumbs up for something different, you get to continue the current guidance from the council.
Chris, maybe you can help us out here.
And Chris might be able to talk to this because I do know, like Counselor Fuentes said, he will be reviewing. And, if another counselor were to come back later and want to have this discussion, they have that opportunity to bring it up. I would say at council time, yes, with 2 counselors supporting that based on the rules of procedure.
Yeah, this is not as formal as a typical action with a motion. So I'm hard pressed to think that a motion to renew would be necessary. I think it could be brought up again when there are 4 counselors present. My other thought is that the program now, I think, is currently paused.
Correct. And it's not in code. And so really this was a first step. We wanted to hear your feedback and also seek some guidance since it is a program underneath our clean water fee that's not in code, what the next step would be if a formal vote is needed, as well as recodification. So intended just really to have a discussion and teach you more about the program and hear your thoughts, and then seek guidance on how to proceed from our legal team.
It seems to me, and I might be construing this totally wrong, because I haven't looked at it, but it seems to me that the status quo is that there isn't a program now. Is that off the wall? I mean, by what authority were you doing it? And by what authority did you stop doing it?
It was previously in code, and when we updated the clean water fee in 2024, it was not incorporated. It was removed from the code that was adopted, and that was a staff decision. We did have a discussion with Ken and Jenny regarding this, and they did say it was a policy decision. Therefore, they recommended we schedule this work session. So as a next step, I would consider recodifying the program, but I would want to understand how much of the policies and procedures and criteria for qualification would need to be explicitly stated in that code.
So my suggestion to do this the most cleanly is for council to, in effect, table this and bring it back and discuss it when there are enough counselors to do something like direct going forward with an ordinance, or to say, no, we don't even want to think about that.
I think we'd need to wait till we had 5 counselors, because even if one more, there's the possibility
Of a tie.
Of a tie.
Yeah.
Right. And so would we bring this back then during a future work session or council time?
Well, you would be giving direction to create an ordinance. Am I correct? That would be the step that would be next.
I think one of the options is just to evaluate and then come back after the evaluation, or in any event, is an ordinance required? Well, an option might be not to continue the program at all. So I think just evaluating it could be.
So that wouldn't require a hearing at a Tuesday meeting. I would think that council time, separate business,
Okay.
or a work session.
All right. Well, then let's schedule that, I think, and then there could be 5 of us here. We'll make sure they do their homework.
And I would offer that we got a lot of great questions today and requests for more information. We can compile that information in preparation for our next work session.
Great.
Sure.
Thanks a lot. Yes, go
I
ahead.
still feel like we could move forward on the last part of what we just all agreed on, which was evaluate and see if a code change would be appropriate.
Okay, you're right. We all
I
do.
think we
agree.
could
I
all
think
agree
all
on
3
that.
of us do agree on evaluated. It's just the pause or not pause
Right.
at this point. And so I think if there's additional information in terms of staff impact, that might be helpful for the next time we talk about this. Great. Okay, anything else? Go ahead.
Just aside from the point, I think this illustrates an issue that I'm becoming increasingly frustrated with, and that is lack of attendance by the council or work sessions. They're critical, they're important, and when counselors aren't showing, and I know that Councilor Fuentes was here earlier, needed to leave earlier, but it creates dysfunction. So just wanted to express my frustration with that.
I think that's a point well taken. I think part of the difficulty is that some of the counselors have additional jobs that conflicts arise. So maybe something for the Charter Review Commission to take up. Any other thoughts?
I would
Okay.
just offer, I'd probably want to consult with you on timing. I know the rest of the year is really jam-packed and if this is something we should wait for post-budget for January 2026, and we can talk offline about that. But I wanted to acknowledge you guys are very busy.
Oh, yeah, thank you. And I think just if you all could work that out, that would be great. And we look at our calendars every day. Okay, thank you very much. This concludes our work sessions for today, and we'll reconvene for council time at 1. Thank you.